Smackdown review for the September 12th episode of Smackdown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. Let's cheers, talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, it seemed to actually kind of be a stacked episode of Smackdown. You had a championship match on this thing. You had a really good main event. You're like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We're like a week out from WrestlePalooza. Needed to kickstart things a little bit. SmackDown's been slow. They did a little bit of work getting that kickstart started this week. Thank you guys for stopping by our live stream on youtube.com/CODWrestlePod because you make watching SmackDown a lot more fun. But let's get into it per usual because Brock Lesnar was here this week. He was here. John Cena was not here. And it's been years since we just heard Brock Lesnar go into a ring and speak a promo. So he comes on out, he grabs a mic, the crowd starts chanting, "You suck." And before Brock Lesnar could cut a promo, R-Truth comes out. Huh? What the hell is R-Truth doing here? And he raps his way all the way to the ring, and he welcomes Brock Lesnar back. And he's like, okay. But he also wants to tell Brock Lesnar that while he is back, he is not scared of Brock Lesnar. And Brock starts to be like, who are you? What's your name? Which kind of didn't make sense. Brock and him have interacted before, so I don't really know what the storyline was going on there. But R-Truth is here saying that he's Ron Cena. He's the cousin of John Cena, or the brother of John Cena. I think the younger brother of John Cena is what he kept saying. And he was here to stand up to Brock because of the disrespect that Brock has been showing John Cena lately, given the fact that he's come out and F5 the dude without saying anything. And then he said that this is a different John Cena this time around. He says that Super Cena's back and he's coming for Brock Lesnar, and he's not here to fear the beast. He's going to feed on the beast. And that's when Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar does, and F5'd R-Truth into the pavement, into the ring. And that was that. He walked away. He did say that all he was doing was looking for John Cena, which kind of, again, didn't make sense because we all knew that John wasn't going to be here. But that was kind of that. Brock Lesnar F5's R-Truth on SmackDown. All he wants is John Cena. Next up, WrestlePalooza. Wasn't much to write home about here. I guess I'll give it a pop, though.
Yeah, I would say there's not much to really write home about. I guess I'll pop it as well. It is a small pop, mostly though because of R-Truth. I think R-Truth's comedic parts in it. Yeah, go on.
I think you want to pop it for another reason too.
Well, no, we didn't forget it. I was getting there.
Okay.
I was getting there.
Okay.
R-Truth just pretty much trying to make Brock Lesnar laugh, or anytime R-Truth's on screen is fantastic stuff. That's really good. Yeah. Brock Lesnar just saying, where's John Cena? Well, I mean, if you look at the schedule, Brock, it's out there. You could just Google search it. It tells you the dates. There it is. And Brock split his pants. So that was funny. I enjoyed that.
Brock wears blue underwear, by the way, guys. I don't know if that means he wears red underwear.
Sponge Brock.
Sponge Brock Lesnar, because he ripped his pants live on TV. And he leaned into it. I mean, you got to give him a little bit of credit there. He got up and he started shaking his butt. He's wearing blue underwear. Maybe he wears red underwear on Raw. I don't know, but it was a funny moment. We would get a Solo Sikoa little video package. It's him alone, no MFT in the back, and he's basically saying that he's a loser right now. He lost the bloodline, he lost the Ulafala, he lost the US title, but he's basically saying that changes are going to happen in his family tree. The MFT will return, basically better than ever, and he's coming back for that title at some point. So Solo's on the loading, back on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do a ton for me here, but it did do a little bit because I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe you get an actual serious side of Solo was kind of what I took away from it.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, they're going to be more serious. I hope they're more serious when they come back. I think we needed this little period of getting them off TV because they were just kind of losing machines at this point. Nothing really to write home about with them. So yeah, write them off TV for a while. Come back serious. Come back with a little bit new paint job, and we'll see what happens there. Then we would get our second official Sami Zayn Open Challenge, which he didn't do the thing that Cena did with his Open Challenges, where he comes to the ring and just sits there and basically says who's up next, and we get the big music earlier in the night, or before the opening video part of the show where they show people in the back. Sammy and Rey Fenix had a handshake and said we'll fight later, so we already knew who he was fighting. Hopefully they don't keep doing that. We do know that next week he fights Carmelo Hayes, so they are going to keep doing it, I guess. But at some point he just needs to get in the ring and give us the moment of who is it going to be, surprise moment. So that's a little critique there. But this match with Rey Fenix slapped. I mean, absolutely slapped. We're very much known for being Sami Zayn haters in a lot of ways.
False.
False. We're very much known for being haters in a lot of ways of Sami Zayn. We criticize his matches a lot. This thing was freaking awesome. It looks like it's going to be more of a Sami Zayn's open challenge reign is going to be all about him just kind of eating a bunch of the offense, letting the other guy get a ton of work in, because Rey Fenix looked like a 5-star guy here. He was getting all of his offense in. But, eventually you would have Sami Zayn getting out of the way of an amigo kick and hitting the haluva kick, gets the 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn returns. This was good stuff. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I mean...
Retains, sorry.
Yeah, returns, retains, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, this was fun. This was a good match. They gave it a lot of time, too. They're just like, here you go. Like you said, it's pretty much a Sami Zayn, hey, I'm going to take all the offense and I'm going to showcase the other guy, which I know there's probably a little bit of pushback on, but I think it works in this situation. I think Sami Zayn was already kind of to that point. Like, you're already like, oh, man, this guy can never lose all the time already, right? All it takes is one haluva kick. We've been talking about that for years at this point. And so you let the other guys showcase. They don't get a lot of time. You're excited to see Rey Fenix. You're excited to see Carmelo Hayes next week. It's going to be good stuff. I think we should all try to keep a positive mind for that.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. That's what I was about to say. Like, I really, really like the start of this open challenge thing for Sami Zayn. I think it's a good pivot away from the underdog role. I think it's a good pivot away from him walking out and cutting his old Intercontinental Championship reign speeches where he just kind of yells about being champion. It's giving people an opportunity to come on the show who don't always get chances, like Rey Fenix. They put on an absolute banger of a match. So I'm 100% ready for more Sami Zayn open challenge matches, man. I like the idea.
Yeah, and if he... you talked about it's not the same old stuff as the IC champion. He should just come out and say, I'm the US champion now.
That's it?
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's all I got.
We'll continue on. The Wyatt Six did give a little video package. It was not the Wyatt Six in full. It was Bo and Eric Rowan, and they're focused on the Profits still, the Street Profits, and they basically were talking about whether or not the Street Profits were going to end up splitting, so we're going to continue to do that, I guess. Not a ton to write home here about in terms of stuff, but I do like the idea of Bo and Rowan speaking more. That's what we've asked for, because the Wyatt Six kind of have gone away here and there, and then we just don't see them, and they pop up in the dark and they beat people up a little bit. But again, we're adding more character stuff to them, so I like the progression there.
Yeah, this wasn't anything too crazy for me. At the end, he does say follow the buzzards, so that was kind of nice to hear. That was pretty cool. You give Rowan a chance to talk. I know when they first started, you were like, hey, let's get a little bit in terms of each person, right? Let each person speak. We can kind of get a little deep dive into each individual character of the Wyatt Six. So maybe that's something cool that they do. Speaking to the beating people up, spoiler, I guess, if you're kind of watching this, but it wouldn't make sense. They showed up on AAA tonight.
They did.
And they beat up Pagano and Psycho Clown.
They did. They did. So more of that from the Wyatt Six. Good stuff. We need more character work from them. Then we get Julia on TV again, 2 weeks in a row. Hey, you got beggars can't be choosers. She's on TV, all right? Yep. And her and Kiana James are in the back talking smack to B-Fab, and B-Fab basically challenges Julia straight up, and Julia is like, you know what, let's do this thing. So we get a U.S. title match later in the night. Kinda not really. Because when Julia and Kiana James come out second while B-Fab is already in the ring, Kiana James enters first, and her and B-Fab immediately start yelling at each other. B-Fab's ready to fight, smacks Kiana James. That leads to a pissed off Julia. She gets out of the ring, starts throwing B-Fab off the barricades, off the ring post, off the stairs. Everything's going on here. Kiana James and Julia then jump onto B-Fab and start beating her up when Mishin with a kendo stick comes out there. Kiana James tries to attack her with the purse, but misses with the purse as Mishin lays into her with a kendo stick. She goes to hit Julia as well, but Julia ducks it and kind of backs away with Kiana James, and they get sent to the backpedaling. So it looks like the next up for Julia is probably going to be a Mishin match at some point. You called that, so very good call on your part. I don't want to give this a drop because we sit here every week and we're like, give us more Julia, give us more Julia, give us more Julia. But I really wanted an actual match here, so I'm going to give this a pop and a drop because I like that Julia's on screen, but give us the actual match at some point, right? We need matches, so I'll drop it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost a first ever stop. Right in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever give a pop or a drop. It's kind of like a stop. I mean, you're excited because Julia's on screen, so that's awesome. I did kind of like the intensity, of her actually attacking B-Fab. I enjoyed that stuff. The Kiana James stuff, I'm still not fully really kind of bought into. This probably leads towards some sort of tag match, I would assume, between Julia and Kiana versus BFAB and Michin, which is fine. That's all cool, whatever. It seems like we're just having Michin go in this endless loop of just like, hey, no matter who's got the title, I'm going to challenge. So maybe one of these times.
Yeah, I mean, the takeaway here is, and this is a constant that I'm probably going to reiterate when we get to the Tiffany match online. It's like the women's divisions on SmackDown right now are just like on loop. That's kind of what they feel like. It's on loop. It's the same people. It's the same character stories. Like, there really isn't nothing fresh with any of it right now. They need some sort of refresh. I don't really know how you do it. We talked about Natty she had a match at Worlds Collide tonight, and they do her actual like Natty badass character, which is cool. That'd be a good jumpstart to SmackDown, but SmackDown definitely needs something to give momentum to the women's scene overall. We move on though, and we're going to talk about it. WWE has announced that WrestleMania 43 will be taking place in Saudi. So we go Vegas, Saudi. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, I would say that I don't think anybody's really that excited for it. I think we kind of all knew that eventually they would get one. I'm kind of surprised that it's as soon as it is, right? They do get Rumble, but now they get Mania, and it's just kind of like, man. Once again, they're prioritizing the money instead of the fans, I feel like. Just a really just awful kind of situation. Like, it just sucks is probably the way that I would phrase it. You look at the press conference, the announcement, right? The superstars, they're not even excited. Triple H, I feel bad for Triple H because he's kind of the figure that's going to take probably most of the flack, even though he has no say in any of it, right? He's just the spokesperson. So all around, just kind of a bad situation, I'd say.
I have two thoughts on it. One, I feel like Saudi doesn't need a WrestleMania. They get 2 big events a year minimum at this point, and Crown Jewels always feel big there, and King and Queen of the Rings, when they're there, they feel big. So that just feels like big events that they already have multiple times a year. Why also give them a WrestleMania? Second, we have been debating for years about when WrestleMania eventually leaves the States, who's going to get it? And these crowds like Paris have just earned their way into it, or London earned their way into it. And it's just like, we're going to Saudi. It's like, yeah, what kind of anticlimactic BS is that, in my opinion? And I agree with you. I think the people that they brought up there, the Liv Morgans and Stephanies, they were just kind of looking there like, yeah, it's happening, guys. So I'm not very excited for it. I'm sure Saudi will do great, and they'll be loud, but I just feel like somewhere else probably deserved this one, in my opinion. We will move on, though. Women's title match did happen tonight. Tiffany Stratton got to fight against Jade Cargill. And I don't care what people say. I have not seen, we filmed this right after our stuff, so we don't see the community online talking about it, but I feel like they did a really good job here tonight. I feel like they have pretty good chemistry. It's not like they're doing anything high-flying and crazy, but they are not afraid to lay into each other. They're very stiff working with one another. My sort of wrestling here is really good stuff. Match does spill to the outside of the ring late on, and Tiffany goes for a moonsault off the top rope to Jade on the outside, but Jade moves out of the way, and they're already at like a 5 count here, when Jade then comes over and picks Tiffany up and then runs her through the barricade. You hear the 9, the 10 from the ref, ding, ding. You do get a count out here, and everybody's boo, boo. Then you have Nia show up, and Nia destroys Jade Cargill, then destroys Tiffany Stratton, then throws Tiffany in the ring, gets an annihilator onto her. So, Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill end in a count out. Nia Jax attacks both of them after the bell, looking like we're setting up a big-time triple threat for that women's title. I like it. I'll pop it, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Like you said, I like the chemistry between Jade and Tiffany. I'm sure some people probably don't, but I like the aspect of Jade kind of being the powerhouse. And then you have Tiffany, who's kind of the athletic seller for Jade. I really think that works well. I think there's maybe a step or two off here or there that they're not fully clicking, like in terms of like an instant classic, but I still enjoy it. It's still really good stuff. You insert Nia Jax into this, and like you said, the repeat cycle just kind of continues and goes and goes. I'm going to go ahead and give it a pass because, like, okay, triple threats are, I mean, I don't like triple threats, but like in this instance, you have 2 women that really kind of aren't doing anything. You don't really have anything else for them to do. You just kind of throw them in something and you see what happens, I guess. It all just kind of, you're waiting for Tiffany to, I guess, have Bianca at this point. Is kind of what you're waiting for. So what can we do? I guess Nia and her, like, they'll feud Nia and Jade off of this, and it is what it is, I guess.
It is what it is situation, honestly. The top women of SmackDown right now are Tiffany, Jade, and Nia. Those are just the ones in the main title feud. That's it. Your Alexas of the world are with Charlotte in the women's tag team division. The mid-card division on SmackDown right now is doing the same thing where they're just all attacking each other and rotating the Mishins and the B-Fabs of the world. Chelsea Green is doing such phenomenal work on NXT that you really, I don't know if you want to throw her into the main scene yet. So it does feel like we're just waiting on Bianca here. And you know what? Make the best of a bad situation. Throw them all in the ring. Triple threat. See what madness can happen. I think it's the best of a bad situation here. Would I like better? Yes. But I think what they're doing with this is kind of like they have to do it at the moment, given their roster on SmackDown.
Yeah, absolutely. And you probably thought to yourself, hey, Brandon, you're just rambling right now and talking. Yeah, I am, because they're just kind of throwing stuff together. So, like, what can you do?
Yeah, that's kind of it. I'm rambling, like I'm stuttering too. There's like the women's division on SmackDown right now. There just isn't a lot of fruit there to be thrown around. I mean, it is what it is. So they're just throwing crap together, honestly, at the moment. Then we would get our main event. It's Drew McIntyre taking on Mr. Randy Orton. This is good stuff here, man. Randy would like be beating up on Drew to start the match on the second rope, and he'd jump off the rope and tweak his leg. And that became the story of the entire match. And Drew 90% of this match was Drew beating the hell out of Randy Orton and beating the hell out of that leg. She even had this good spot where he picked up Orton for a body slam and just body slammed him into the rope onto that leg. Later on in the match, Orton actually like got up and was pissed off and looked into the camera and was like, no one has ever thrown me into the rope. So it was really good character.
I think Drew's done that a couple times. And every time he does it, I go, man, that's gnarly.
Yeah, dude,
every time.
He nailed it. But Drew eventually does hit him with a Claymore, but Randy rolls to the outside of the ring. And then when they get back in, RKO out of nowhere. But then they roll back to the outside of the ring and start beating the hell out of each other over there as well. Eventually, after their outside stuff happens, they roll back in, and Drew's on his knees in the center of the ring. And Randy Orton, now he's pissed off. You've been attacking my leg the entire match. You have no respect for me. You took out my boy Orton or Cody Rhodes. I'm going to punt your head off is what Randy's basically thinking. He gets into the corner, and then the ref gets in the way. I mean, the ref like is in his face, and Randy, like, you should watch it. Randy is yelling at him like, "Get out of my way! What are you doing? Move!" And by the time the ref moves, obviously Drew's had enough time to recover some stamina, and Randy goes for the kick, misses. Drew shoves Orton into the corner at the ref again, and this time Randy's like, "You're in my way again." But he turns around directly into a Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre gets the win, but of course he wasn't done because he's Drew McIntyre. And he starts beating up on Randy, and he kicks him to the outside of the ring, and Randy ends up in the exact same position Mr. Cody Rhodes was in a month ago, where he is leaned down or bent down on his knees right in front of the announce table. And Drew backs up, ready to do exactly what he did to Cody Rhodes, and he was going to Claymore Randy's face through it, but that's when Mr. Cody Rhodes returns. The American Nightmare's back, storms to the ring, starts to beat the hell out of Drew McIntyre, eventually hits him with a Cody cutter. Drew rolls out of the ring. Cody grabs the mic and says the champ is back. And at WrestlePalooza, I want you, Mr. Drew McIntyre. That's how our show ends. So Cody Rhodes makes his triumphant return. He challenges Drew McIntyre to a match at WrestlePalooza. Cannot wait for this one. Popping all of it.
Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't pop this. I mean, hell yeah. Just excitement, right? Cody's back. It's awesome. It's great. I'm interested to see, I guess, a little bit how the match will play out. I hope this is a long feud, right? I hope it's not just a one-off at WrestlePalooza. I hope they kind of keep going back and forth, but we'll see kind of how that goes. Drew McIntyre's done some great work. He almost took Randy Orton out, and in terms of the match itself, you talk about that, like, it's weird that the ref tried to stop Randy Orton because that hasn't really happened. I mean, Randy's been teasing this punt kick for so long now, and I haven't seen a ref get in front of him anytime recently. So is what it is. Maybe Randy gets pissed at the ref, and maybe he goes and talks to Nick Aldis. I don't know. But Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, WrestlePalooza, not much else needs to be said. Cody Rhodes is going to be woeing when he defends that title against Drew.
Yeah, I'm just happy to have Cody Rhodes back. SmackDown desperately needs it, in my opinion. It's just another huge match to a WrestlePalooza card that is looking stacked, in my opinion. I think that this is one of those feuds that The WrestlePalooza will be just the beginning of it, in my opinion. I think we'll do multiple matches there. We'll probably work Randy back into this at some point so that you can eventually set up the Cody versus Randy feud that we've all been clamoring for years, ever since Cody returned, basically. So this just feels like SmackDown's finally kickstarting, getting back into the swing of things after Cody being away for a month. So I'm happy it's happening. I'm happy to see Cody Rhodes back, and now I'm ready to watch more SmackDown. And that's good stuff. And that's about it. Honestly, like there was nothing more than that. It was a quick SmackDown, a lot of matches here. Actually, we did get a chapter 1 of a long John Cena versus Brock. They literally took about a 5 to 10 minute segment of the show tonight and put a John Cena and Brock Lesnar video package highlighting their OVW days and their early build up. So expect that on Raw 2, a part 2, and probably on SmackDown, a part 3 to finish it off. So
part 2's next week.
Part 2's next week.
Part 1 tonight, you'll probably see it like he said, and then part 2 next week.
So we're gonna get.
We'll drop that.
We'll drop that. We're giving that a We're giving some of our time to a documentary on SmackDown. That just seems a little ridiculous.
And we don't. Admittedly, we don't need one of this.
Yeah.
If you watch wrestling, you know John Cena, you know Brock Lesnar. We don't need this.
Yeah, these are pretty well-known humans. 8 pops to 3 drops. I feel like that's where it was at. This is a decent SmackDown. I give it like a C+ overall. It was good stuff. I'm ready for what's coming next. But thank you guys for stopping by our live stream, youtube.com/CODWrestlePod. We do Raw, SmackDown, and we'll be doing WrestlePalooza so make sure to stop by for that. And then for everything else, it's at CODWrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It'll take you to all of our social media links, including our new TikTok Reacts page, where you see our live reactions from our live streams with the WWE on it. So make sure to check that out. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.